Part 45. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 452. That's right, the one who greeted Hikaru Hinata was the Jonin of the branch family who contributed several B-level scrolls to Hikaru Hinata in the family competition. Also taking advantage of that opportunity, Hinata exchanged B-level water escape, water dragon bullet and other ninjutsu. Hinata Hikari looked at his travel-stained appearance, and it was obvious that he had just arrived here. "Were you also mobilized to participate in this war?" Hinata asked. "Well, I just arrived." The Jounin of the branch family couldn't help but smile when he saw that his fellow clan members were here, still his juniors. When Hinata Hikaru was reporting to Tsunade in the tent, this branch Jounin came here. Then, he received a mobilization order for a major battle. Oh, Hinata nodded slightly and stopped talking to him. But he had a lot to say to Hinata Hikari. "Hikaru Hinata, are you scared when you see such a big scene?" The branch Jounin looked around the camp, looking at the phalanx of hundreds of ninjas that were gathering one after another, and couldn't help but say. He walked up to Hinata Hikari very naturally and looked at Hinata Hikari. "Still such a small one. Although you showed off your talents in the clan competition, after all, it was just an ordinary competition. The real battlefield is different from the competition. Don't you have any scrolls to contribute to this leader?" Hinata Hikaru frowned, obviously not wanting to talk to this branch Jounin. She also had to brag about her heroic deeds to Namikaze Minato and Namatsu. "Of course there are scrolls. Let's do it next time. If you can come out on top in the clan competition next year, I will exchange a few more scrolls for you. How about it?" "Ugh." Hinata looked at him with disgust. "Still next year? I'm afraid this guy has no idea that she is now capable of killing everyone. Jonin, this previously unbridgeable gap has now been smoothed away." Although Hikaru Hinata didn't dare to say that he could beat all Jounin, the scum of the same race in front of him could be beaten violently. The branch Jounin was still chattering. "Hyaga Hikaru, if you feel in danger, just follow me, although I don't dare to say that I can completely protect you. For the sake of my fellow clan, son, I will take care of you." Namatsu and Namikaze Minato looked at the branch Jounin with incomprehensible eyes. "If you talk nonsense casually, your tongue will flash." The strength of the daylight has completely surpassed almost everyone's imagination. In the entire camp, only a few people knew how powerful Hinata was now. Reaching the level of Jonin at the age of May 9 have made history. Because as far as Namikaze Minato knows, Hinata Hikaru is the first person to achieve this achievement since the founding of Konoha. While understanding this matter, Namikaze Minato was also deeply happy for Hinata Hikaru. And comfort. This world is a world where strength is respected. The first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, single-handedly swept through the ninja world, catching tailed beasts like puppies. That kind of state is really desirable. Maybe, Hikaru Hinata-san will be able to reach the heights of the first Hokage Senju Hashirama one day. Namikaze Minato was in high spirits and was not discouraged at all because Hinata Hikaru surpassed him. At this time, he was different from the Namikaze Minato in the original work. Minato Namikaze of this world developed an existence called Ripple Kigong based on Hinata Hikari's experience of the fluctuations of murderous intent. Just like in the original work, Namikaze Minato developed a series of barrier techniques and new sealing techniques based on Uzumaki Kushina's whirlpool sealing technique. Not only Hinata Hikari, Namikaze Minato also has the ability to draw inferences from one instance to another. They all understand that success is standing on the shoulders of giants. Forefathers planted trees for future generations to enjoy the shade. Absorb the advantages of others and magically transform them into your own moves. An hour passed quickly. All quiet. With a majestic shout, the originally noisy camp immediately became silent. On the one hand, it's because of the quality of the ninjas. On the one hand, because the spokesperson is the goddess who attracts everyone's attention, Tsunade. Many ninjas are Tsunade's lickers. Therefore, as soon as Tsunade opens her mouth, they immediately shut their mouths tightly. Some people even want to sew their mouths shut with ninjutsu. The future Sunin and the current princess of the Senju clan, Tsunade Hime, stood on the high platform and looked around at everyone. Then, Tsunade announced the course of action, and the great battle began. War is cruel and kills people. But in order to completely repel the invaders, in order to prevent the civilians of the Fire Country, and their families from being threatened by the enemy, we must do it even if it costs blood. This is Tsunade's pre-war mobilization. It simply aroused everyone's emotions. The scene was filled with loud shouts. There were constant cries to repel the invaders. Everyone is proud because this is a just war. Everyone fights for themselves, or for their relatives and friends. From the start of the war, Konoha is bound to win. Because justice must bring faith. Konoha's army naturally has more determination than the invading Tsunagakuer. Many times, determination leads to victory. Although the top management of Tsunagakuer village can brainwash their subordinates, there are still some who cannot stand it due to their conscience, and their natural strength is somewhat weaker. It doesn't take more than 10% of the Suna ninja to waver in their faith, and the fruits of failure will spread to the entire group. This is why Konoha still has confidence in facing this war. Even if Konoha is surrounded by enemies on many sides, facing Sand Ninja, IWA Ninja, Mist Ninja, and Cloud Ninja at the same time. Counting the number of people in the camp and the number of new members, there were a total of more than 500 people on Konoha's side participating in the battle in this war. This is just one of several large units in the entire Tsunagakuer defense line. Just like Dota 2, LOL, Glory of Kings and other games, there are three routes, upper, middle and lower. Hinata Hikaru's unit belongs to the top. Konoha deployed more than 1,500 ninjas on the battlefield of Tsunagakuer village. Now, there is a problem with the enemy's top lane, and Tsunade is going to lead people to push down the tower. Tsunade is the commander-in-chief. The elite Jounin are ranked as captains, and below, they are divided into small captains where Jounin takes office. Then, we divide them into specific teams and classes. In addition to regular ninjas, there are also many special classes and teams such as medical class, communication class, barrier class, trap class, reconnaissance class, intelligence team, etc. Most of the special Jounin are among them. This is one of the uses of special Jounin. Because of his special abilities, he was specially promoted from a ninja to a special Jounin, thus becoming a member of a specialized class. Hinata Hikaru was still in the team and saw some genin. These genin only accounted for a small number of people, not as good as the backbone genin troops. These skew older, many in their 20s and even 30s. These people are real low-level ninjas, with no talent, family inheritance, or luck. He might be stuck in the rank of genin for his whole life. However, genin also has its uses as a genin. Even if it's just a facade, it's great. Everyone, get ready to go. Don't be afraid of any difficulties we encounter. Face it with a smile. The best way to eliminate fear is to face it. Perseverance is the victory. Come on. Ollie. Tsunade ended with these words. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 453. Hinata Hikari and others were assigned to the team where the branch Jounin was. Namikaze Minato and Namatsu received the same treatment. Because of his special status, the branch Jounin did not serve as the team leader, but instead served as the squad leader, responsible for commanding Jiraya's team. The Jounin of the separate family thought for a moment and automatically imagined a big drama. Tsunade-sama specifically asked me to take care of you. Yes, it's for Jiraiya-sama's sake. Well, you three, listen to my command. This war As the branch Jounin Balabala said, the team had already started to set off. In his opinion, Namikaze Minato should be the strongest, and Naso Matsu shouldn't be too bad either. He's from the Earth Spider clan and can just be a support person. As for Hyuga Hikari, it is just below Hyuga Hikari. When Hikaru Hinata's large force headed toward the enemy camp, Hai also passed the information to Danzo Shimura. Through the psychic technique, summon the psychic beast in Konoha, and let the psychic beast carry the information scroll to release the psychic and let it return. Using this method, information can be quickly transferred back to Konoha. Untie. After Hai formed the seal and released the psychic technique, he set off from the camp in a flash of light. The direction was clearly the battlefield where Hinata Hikaru's large force was rushing towards. Konoha Hidden Village, Root's underground base. Danzo Shimura received the notification from his subordinates and opened his eyes wide when he saw clearly the scroll that Hai passed back. It's really impressive that Hinata is able to complete the task. Her talent is enough to satisfy people. However, Danzo quickly flipped through the scroll to read the next thing. Very absurd and unreal. But it actually happened. Including Hikaru Hinata using a water cannon to save Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and the other two, and then the three of them completed their mission. At the end of the scroll, it is mentioned that Tsunade personally led the team to fight the Suna ninja. Hai said that he would still follow Hinata Hikari to observe the situation. Danzo Shimura didn't expect that Hikaru Hinata could actually use a B-level water dragon bullet. This means that at least her chakra level has surpassed the Chunin level. In this way, the whole person's strength may be close to that of a special Jounin. This idea was rejected by Danzo as soon as it came up. How can this be? A special Jounin under 10 years old. Danzo himself didn't believe it. Moreover, the water dragon bullet has many seals and a long release time. Although it is the most popular B-level ninjutsu, in Danzo Shimura's opinion, it is also the most useless ninjutsu in actual combat. Although Hinata Hikaru suddenly had an idea and used the control water dragon bomb to save people, that was it. For a true master, no one would give her a chance to form a seal. It seems that the blood succession limit is indeed very strong. Danzo Shimura narrowed his eyes and synthesized the reports one by one. Perhaps, Hinata Hikaru should be allowed to return to the village to study her mysterious blood inheritance limit. Shimura Danzo made up his mind and quickly gave orders. Soon, two figures appeared here. They were not wearing masks, just their normal clothes. One person has orange-yellow hair and a single ponytail. A man is wearing sunglasses. He is a ninja from the Yamanaka clan and a ninja from the Abarame clan. Since the establishment of the Roots more than 20 years ago, these two groups have provided ninjas from their own clans to the Roots at regular intervals under the coercion and inducement of Danzo Shimura. And they have actually made outstanding contributions to Shimura Danzo. But unfortunately, the ninjas of the Nara clan and the Akimichi clan were firmly held in the hands of Hiruzen Sarutobi and would not give in. This also made Danzo more helpless. After all, Inakacho is a vassal of the Sarutobi clan, so it is already good to get a ninja from the Yamanaka clan. Yamanaka Shuaki, Abarame Ryasuke, you two, go and bring Hinata Hikaru back. Yes, Danzo-sama. The two of them responded in unison and disappeared in an instant. People at the Root are masters of infiltration. Shuaki Yamanaka and Ryasuke Abarame are both special Jounin. This was just in case Hikari disobeyed. With Hai's support and cooperation, wouldn't it be possible for the three of them to defeat a Hyuga Hikari? Danzo Shimura showed an eerie smile. It is normal for people to go missing on the battlefield. The missions that beings like Hinata are most often sent out on are patrol missions at most. The inspection task is usually completed by 4 people or 1 person. It would be better if she cooperated and came back. If she doesn't cooperate, then take her back. Of course, the premise is that she can survive this big battle. After Hinata Hikaru is completely controlled by him, whether it's Byakugan's research or the strange blood inheritance limit, he can use it. On the border between the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Sichuan, strong winds blow and yellow sand fills the sky. Although I have not entered the Kingdom of Wind, I can already feel the unique smell and weather of the desert. But in this environment, there is an unusual atmosphere. Blood, red blood stained the earth, turning the place into red. The general attack carried out by the team led by Tsunade completely caught the enemy off guard. Although the enemy had sentries monitoring the movements on the front line, how could a sudden attack by a large army pressing on the border be easily dealt with? In a short period of time, this place became a battlefield between Konoha and Tsunagakuer. Both sides invested hundreds of ninjas, totaling nearly 1,000 ninjas, into the battle. This is the real big scene. Compared to the hurriedly assembled Suna ninja, Konoha's side was much more orderly. Rows of ninjas entered the battle and released joint ninjutsu together. This is how it is in the early stages of the battlefield. Only when the chakra is almost exhausted or the team is dispersed will this map cannon baptism combat method come to an end. The ninjutsu formations released by multiple ninjas are extremely shocking. After all, even a shadow-level expert would have to deal with dozens of powerful flames spitting out. Under this large-scale bombing, the Suna ninjas suffered casualties in the first round. In particular, fire defeats wind. Most ninjas in Tsunagakuer village have wind attributes, and a few have earth attributes. Sand ninjas with water attributes are even rarer. Therefore, their defense appears to be so weak. But after the first round of fire escape, the opponent quickly organized a counterattack. They dispersed the team so that this concentrated fire attack could not be effective. The open area brings a broad field of vision and an environment that facilitates the release of ninjutsu by multiple people. However, it also brings the advantages of fighting separately. With the ninjas of Tsunagakuer village completely dispersed, using joint ninjutsu doesn't seem so wise. The ninjas of Tsunagakuer village, who lack supplies themselves, didn't even want a camp. Everyone took action, and under the mobilization of their commander, the Tsunagakuer village ninjas dispersed into 3 troops. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 454. 1 wave from the front, 2 waves from the left and right. Trying to encroach on Konoha's team in this way. Soon, hand-to-hand combat began. After all, most ninjas have a limited amount of chakra. For example, for Chuyunin, if you put in 2-3 times of sea-level ninjutsu, your mana will be empty. Ordinary people still can't compare with those heaven-defying characters. After that, the clanging sound of fighting resounded in Hinata Hikaru's ears. Her team was at the end of the line and was protected by a separate jounin, so there was no need to worry about being killed. Oh, you still have to be wary of the ninjas that occasionally fly over. Hinata Hikaru is very strong and can defeat many jounin. Of course it's because Tsunade hopes that this leader can keep a low profile and make a fortune quietly. Hinata nodded. She knew that there must be eyes monitoring her performance. If she performs too well, she will cause unnecessary trouble. Namikaze Minato, Namatsu, you two quickly go fight monsters and level up. I, the leader, can just stay here. Hinata Hikari waved her hand, like an expert, and drove away Namikaze Minato and Nosatsu. The branch jounin looked at the scene and the corner of his mouth twitched fiercely. Still keeping a low profile. Is there anything about her strength worth covering up? Hinata Hikaru doesn't care what the jounin of the separate family thinks. She has defeated 2 jounin, and her little tail has already been raised. In her opinion, jounin was nothing more than that. But fighting her as an elite jounin was a problem. Therefore, What Hinata is most interested in right now is how to further improve his strength. She would have to master the form changes of fire release sooner or later, but there was still a problem. According to Uchiha Takano, it took him many years to master the form-changing ninjutsu of fire release and fire flame sword. In other words, form changes cannot be practiced in one day, it is very time-consuming. Therefore, Hinata Hikaru retained the idea of practicing fire escape form changes while continuing to follow the old path. Collect the weapons and absorb the bloody scent above. As a result, the great Hyuga light cult master returned to his old business and started picking up rags. I saw her constantly picking and choosing, and then using the sealing technique to seal it into the scroll behind her. Of course, not only ninja tools, but also sealing things that interest you. For example, the puppets of the Tsunagakura village puppet master. Although many of these puppets are crude puppets used by genin and chunin, they are far less sophisticated than the puppet of the defeated jounin. But since it's all free, why not? On the battlefield, nearly 1,000 people were fighting, and the chaos was extremely chaotic. Even Tsunade herself joined the team and became One Punch Man, Tsunade. Punch a kid. However, Hinata Hikaru is the only one who is leisurely and calmly picking up rags in the rain. Ah! This weapon is very good. Hey! This puppet is okay too. Occasionally, scrolls or something fell out of someone's body, but Hinata picked them up. On the battlefield that was full of passion, roars of anger, and howls of despair, Hinata Hikaru was the only one who was extremely excited. It was as if the entire noisy world had nothing to do with her. Boom! Hinata Hikari walked past two warring ninjas. Just now, the ninja from Hidden Sand Village knew that there was no hope of survival. He was seriously injured and triggered the detonating talisman, killing his opponent together. However, facing the roar of the detonating talisman, Hinata didn't hear it, but calmly picked up a ring that someone dropped. This ring looks very valuable and quaint. Maybe there is an old man or something in it. Hinata said nervously and sealed the ring into the scroll. Then, she smiled. In the entire battlefield, she was the only one who gained the most. As the situation changed, many Konoha ninjas became impatient. The counterattack of the ninjas of Tsunagakura village was far beyond their imagination. Among them, there were many puppet masters who used poisoned puppets to cause great damage to the team on Konoha's side. Although some poisons are not fatal, once scratched, even if the skin is broken a little, it will be immediately corroded by the poison and lose combat effectiveness. Therefore, those jonin who originally had the intention to protect the genin could not sit still. Including the jounin of the branch family who followed Hinata Hikari closely and watched him pick up rags. You protect yourselves. A jounin of the Sarutobi clan gave instructions to a genin of the same clan, and then he shouted and joined the battle. The Abarame clan must strive to gain a sense of existence. Everyone was fighting, but no one noticed the ninjas of the Abarame clan. This made the jounin of the Abarame clan very angry. They hate being ignored. So, he told the genin of his clan and joined the battlefield. Just like that, for various purposes, everyone on the red-eyed battlefield moved. The branch jounin looked at the situation and felt anxious, but he didn't want to give up on the good young man Hinata Hikari. If Hinata Hikaru grows up, he will definitely become the second best player in the family competition to win glory for the branch family. Seeing Hinata picking up rags, he asked, "Hyuga, what are you picking up these things for? If you need money, I can give it to you." Hinata Hikaru, who was picking up the ninja tools, turned around and smiled strangely. "Ga. This leader doesn't want your money, and I'm not short of money either. As for the functions of these things, I won't tell you. Because you're not qualified yet." "I know. The jounin of the branch family almost spat out blood. After calming down, the branch jounin said again, "Hikari Hinata, don't you realize that the battlefield is dangerous? Yes, the battlefield is indeed dangerous. Even a jounin like him will die if he is not careful. Saying that, the branch jounin used his soft fist to knock away several flying Konoha. If you don't think of a way to quickly deal with the enemy, you will have no choice but to be dealt with by the enemy. Hinata curled her lips and picked up another ninja tool. Just leave that kind of thing to you. Tsunade arranged for me to be in the back row. Obviously, she wanted me to keep a low profile and bide my time. I can't live up to her good intentions, huh? Separate Jonin. The branch jounin said that he had never seen such a shameless person. So, you don't plan to take action? That's right. Hinata nodded and concentrated on picking up equipment. In her opinion, these were all treasures that could enhance her strength. There is no gain in fighting the enemy, so why should she fight? The branch jounin was a little anxious, and he suddenly pointed at a guy. Look, that ninja from Sunagakura village, he's holding the famous tachi. A famous sword. Hinata turned his head curiously and looked in the direction he pointed. There was a sand ninja holding a tachi and killing everyone. However, Hinata Hikaru took one look and immediately looked away, turning to look at the branch jounin with great contempt. Will he give that sword to me for free? Of course not. The branch jounin couldn't help laughing when he saw Hinata Hikaru's attention being attracted. The little guy is still too young. He thought proudly. If you defeat him, his sword will be yours. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 455. Quack. Rather than dangerous benefits, this leader collects safe benefits first. Maybe after this leader collects these safe benefits, he will be killed. By then, it will become a safe benefit. Haha. The branch jounin smiled instead of being angry, feeling as if his IQ had been crushed by Hinata Hikaru. Finally, he shook his head and sighed, it's up to you, I'm going to kill the enemy. With that said, he joined the battle. After watching the branch jounin join the battle, Hinata Hikaru looked contemptuous. I want to use my leader as a spearman again, just like during the family competition. I will not be fooled. They don't know that this leader can gain strength by absorbing blood. As long as I keep picking up ninja tools, my leader will one day be able to surpass Hatake Sakumo in strength. Thinking of this, Hinata Hikaru worked even harder to pick it up. Hiss, hiss. She absorbed the bloody aura from each ninja tool. These small contents can be absorbed from the air in an instant, and the sun doesn't even need to lower its head to touch it. Only those that were difficult to absorb in an instant were sealed into the scroll by her. This kind of bloody smell cannot be seen even if you have Sharingan or Byakugan. Only Hyuga Hikari, who has created the fluctuation of murderous intention, can look at it. Namikaze Minato swung his kunao and casually killed an enemy. After mastering the Ripple Kigong, it is no exaggeration to say that his physical fitness has improved exponentially compared to before. Namikaze Minato paused and looked at Hinata Hikari. Hinata Hikaru is continuing her rag-picking career. She picked it up so seriously that no matter how fierce the fighting on the battlefield around her was, it couldn't shake her even a little bit. This performance made Namikaze Minato smile. Careful. Suddenly someone reminded Namikaze Minato loudly. The sound of breaking through the air brought several kunao flying towards him. On the battlefield, many ninjas were killed by the stray arrow. Sometimes, these kunao do not necessarily go towards the set target, but kill the targets on the way. After Minato Namikaze heard the cry, he didn't panic at all. He moved his right hand and held 3 kunao in his hand. Then, Namikaze Minato began to inhale, and strange ripples were produced from his body, and then acted on the kunao. Call out. 3 kunao were thrown out, and the following arrows rushed onto the battlefield as fast as they came first. Click. Incredible things happened. Namikaze Minato's kunao actually cut off the enemy's kunao from it. Neatly cut Luya in half. Ripple, Severing method. Namikaze Minato, who maintained his throwing posture, said the name of this move. Using the ripples produced by breathing to increase the pressure attached to the kunai, it cuts through the enemy's ninja tool. Seeing Minato Namikaze blocking 3 ninja tools with one blow, ninjas from Tsunagakure village immediately ran towards them. In their opinion, Namikaze Minato was nothing more than a brat, with just a small skill. If we really take action, the result will be obvious. Compared to the gentle Namikaze Minato, Namatsu's killing methods are much more violent. And accompanied by various secondary questions. You Tsunagakure guys. Why are you bringing this useless fight to the universe? You are afraid of death, then don't fight. All the people here, including me, if it is for the peace of the fire country, I am willing to become the god of death. The second disease is terrible, especially the one that can be beaten is even more terrible. Especially since he has 2 amazing teammates. Although Hinata Hikaru has been fishing, Namikaze Minato is constantly paying attention to Nasomatsu's situation. But fortunately, although Yesong is the second best also has the advantage of the second best, that is, he can implement his own will. War is indeed boring. Namikaze Minato deeply realized that it was this boring war that turned Namatsu into a Chuyunibu. Therefore, ending the war can end everything. The battle involving nearly 1,000 people did not take long. Because the terrain here is vast and there are basically no bunkers, the fight will be head-on. There will never be a situation where a group of people hide behind rocks or in the woods, or even engage in street fighting in buildings. In this world filled with yellow sand, there is only killing, non-stop killing. Under the leadership of Commander-in-Chief Tsunade, the Konoha ninjas on the side of justice are full of momentum. In less than an hour, the final battle between a 1,000-person team was revealed. Several elite jounin from Tsunagakure village abandoned their remnants of their old troops and took them as their successors, and then fled. This is the Sand Ninja. Tsunade gasped, watching the scene with disdain. Using genin, shuyunin, special jounin, or even jounin behind the throne, elite jounin can escape. Only countries such as Tsunagakure can do this. For example, the reason why Konoha and Kumigakure have such strong cohesion is because the strongest people always cut off and the Chuyunin and Genin escape. On the battlefield filled with lingering smoke, casualties were quickly counted. The number of dead and injured in Konoha was around 200, with others suffering varying degrees of minor injuries. The number of enemy deaths and serious injuries was twice that of those who were about to reach Konoha. In this battle led by Tsunade, twice the number of ninjas from the opponent's side were wiped out. All of this was caused by Hinata's cutting off the enemy's supply line and catching the enemy by surprise when the enemy was hungry. As for the hero, the biggest hero should be Hinata Hikari. Ninjas are human beings too. They also need to eat and use ninja tools. If you don't have food, you will be hungry, and if you are hungry, your physical fitness will decrease. When your physical fitness decreases, your morale will be low, and your combat capability will also be reduced. As the battle came to an end, many things after the war were arranged, including collecting the bodies, cleaning the battlefield, treating the wounded. And Hinata Hikaru's behavior of picking up rags has come to an end. She patted the big scroll behind her with satisfaction, which contained a large number of ninja tools and a small number of puppets. This battle is a complete victory. And in a place where no one paid attention, or was too lazy to pay attention, a masked figure squatted motionless aside, observing Hinata Hikaru's figure. Hai, who used earth release and camouflage hidden technique to eliminate his own body, squatted there and observed the entire process of Hinata Hikaru's participation in the battle. Under his watchful eyes, this little mentally ill man worked his way up to the top of his game. Hai was curious about how Hikari accomplished the previous task. With the help of this battle, he wanted to observe Hinata's true strength. If a person goes to the battlefield and participates in such a medium-sized battle, he must show some real skills no matter what. However, he guessed wrong. Very wrong. This Hinata didn't even move her hands a few times from beginning to end. The one who took the most shots was just to slap away a few flying kunao or shurikens. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 456. Hai has been on missions so many times, but he has never seen anyone like Hikaru Hinata who doesn't follow the normal routine at all. And those sand ninjas seemed to be blind, and none of them paid attention to the salted fish of Hinata Hikaru. Could it be that her strength is too low, so low that no one else pays attention to it? Obviously not. If this little psycho was really that weak, he wouldn't be able to perform the B-level water dragon bullet technique. Hai was confused, he couldn't understand. Completely do not understand. At this point, he could only anxiously hope that Master Danzo would make new arrangements. A few hours later, the battlefield preparations were completed. It was getting close to dusk. Because of the arrival of summer, the sky is still bright even though it is already 7 o'clock in the evening. Especially in this desert border close to the Kingdom of Wind, the days are long and the nights are short. The sand ninja camp, which had been destroyed by ninjutsu and detonating talismans, was obviously uninhabitable. Therefore, Tsunade made a decision and the entire army retreated. Those with strong mobility left first, followed by the wounded and medical squad, and the reconnaissance squad stayed behind to observe for a period of time in case the enemy had reinforcements. So, under Tsunade's proper arrangements, the team began to evacuate in an orderly manner. For the death of one of their own ninjas, Konoha's ninjas did not show much grief. On the one hand, after becoming ninjas, they have a consciousness of death. On the other hand, they understand that only by completely repelling the invaders and ending this war will they stop continuing to sacrifice. Namikaze Minato and Namatsu returned to Hinata Hikari's side. The three of them were at the back of the team as they were when they came, and they returned to Konoha's front camp. When they returned to the camp, the sky was filled with stars. The logistics troops, who had been contacted in advance by the communications class, had already started cooking food. When the troops came back, a hot meal was waiting for them. In addition, the communications team also sent a message to Konoha Hidden Village to inform them of the great victory. The victory of such a major battle will be left to the Sandaime Hokage and others to further judge and plan the next course of action. There are 3 large camps in Tsunagakura village, with a total of 1,500 people. Now, one of them has been eliminated by Tsunade's team. Next, the stalemate situation is likely to change, and maybe even affect the victory of the war. Naturally, Tsunade would not wait for this situation. Next, it depends on how Sand Hidden Village will act. Whether to continue to mobilize troops for reinforcements or to retreat to defense depends on the intelligence department's spies. After Hinata Hikari and others had enough to eat and drink, and rested for a while, they went to bed. The camp on Konoha's side was suddenly enveloped in the tranquility of the night. However, the Sand Hidden Village on the other side is not very peaceful. The communication team members of Sand Hidden Village looked at the psychic beast railings in front of them with due diligence. Suddenly, an eagle flew in and landed on the railing. This is the most commonly used communication strategy in Tsunagakura village, Ninja Eagle. Ninja Eagle. This is the most commonly used communication strategy in Tsunagakura village, using raised ninja eagles to deliver messages. After seeing the Ninja Eagle, the ninjas from the communication team of Tsunagakura village immediately stepped forward, untied the scroll on the Ninja Eagle, and handed it over to the people from the intelligence department to interpret the code. Soon, they were shocked, and then alerted the Sandaime Kaze cage who was already resting. In the Kaze cage building, the third-generation Kazekige's expression suddenly changed after seeing the emergency report. Then, they immediately summoned Tsunagakura's senior officials, many elders and heads of various departments. Hinata Hikaru secretly attacked the logistics supply unit and took away the supply scroll. Tsunade then stepped forward to lead the team and went to the battlefield to fight. All this took less than a day. According to normal foot strength, it would take 1.5 days at the fastest to get from the border of the Kingdom of Wind to Sand Hidden Village. In other words, after these things happened, Tsunagakure village was caught off guard, and Tsunagakure village, which was located in the hinterland of the Kingdom of Wind, was unable to react at all. The reason why the news was received so quickly was because the specially trained ninja eagles quickly conveyed the news. If the fleeing supply troops want to return to the village to report the news, they will have to wait until dawn at least before they can return. And now, it's only midnight. After all the senior personnel were gathered, the Sandaime Kazekage told everyone the information. Suddenly, everyone had different expressions on their faces. After the Sandaime Kazekage signaled everyone to be quiet, he decided on a strategy. 1. Send reinforcements from the village to the front line to block the gap. 2. Recall Cho, the leader of the puppet army who is entangled with Sancho Hanzo in the Land of Rain, and let him serve as the commander-in-chief. When necessary, all forces can be gathered together to launch a general attack on Konoha. 3. Follow the example of Konoha and send out multiple small forces to destroy its logistical support function. 4. Send special personnel to investigate who destroyed the supply force. For this culprit, the village's Umbu was sent to carry out an assassination attempt on him. Kill. Orders were issued one after another, and even in the middle of the night, everyone cheered up and began to carry out the orders of the Sandaime Kazekage. When the stars faded and dawn arrived, the supply troops who had fled in embarrassment returned. According to their narration, the Sandaime Kazekage knew someone. Hikaru Hinata. Is it this Hikari again? What's so strange about this kid? The Sandaime Kazekage occasionally heard Hinata's name in previous meetings, but he didn't take it seriously at all. After all, she is just a branch of the Hyuga clan. And, barely 10 years old. Such a brat is not worthy of his attention at all. Idiot. A dozen of you can't deal with her. Faced with the Sandaime Kazekage's rebuke, the 11 sand ninjas were stunned. The guy who knew Haim came out and whispered, Master Kazekage, even Mr. Haim, who has the limit of magnetic escape and blood inheritance, was defeated by her. I am afraid that Mr. Haim is already in danger. What? After hearing this, the Sandaime Kazekage immediately opened his eyes. A kid less than 10 years old defeated Haim. The Sandaime Kazekage naturally knew Haim. It would be better to say that he knew every ninja in the village who had the limit of magnetic escape and blood inheritance. Because, these ninjas are likely to be the next Kazekage successors in the future. That is, the Yondaime Kazekage. And the young man he favored, Haim, was extremely loyal to the country and the village. He was actually defeated by Hinata Hikari? How can this be? If it were anyone else, the Sandaime Kazekage would still think it was nonsense. But that was Haim. Haim, who was loyal and somewhat fanatical, was actually defeated by this kid. Soon, the information was presented by the Umbu. The Sandaime Kazekage flipped through the information and learned the detailed information about Hinata Hikari. In addition to what he knew before, he also discovered that Hinata Hikaru had a special blood inheritance limit. According to reports from the ninjas who escaped, Hinata's weapons have been updated. The standard longsword of Union Village turned into a strange red blade. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 458. Yamashiro Momoji said that she didn't understand what Hinata Hikari was talking about at all. Mind reading? It looks very funny. While on a mission together, She saw Momiji Yamashiro using mind-reading abilities on enemies. This approach is very effective against enemies who are very tight-lipped. Don't speak. Don't open your mouth and pull it down, just read it directly. But the problem is, this leader has learned it a long time ago. Change it? Hinata waved her hands. Nani? Okay. In the end, Yamashiro Momiji had no choice but to hand over another trick of his to press the bottom of the box. Secret technique: stone needle. Throw 2 kunai tied with steel wires that can transmit electricity to the enemy. When piercing the enemy's body, he will input his own chakra into it, making the enemy's body unable to move. Then, Hinata Hikaru stretched out her hand to the other person, and met Ashibashi Kazu. Asashibashi and Dazai were stunned. What? Hinata curled her lips in disgust. Where's your thanks? Me. Nashibashi Kazu thought for a while and wondered if he had anything to give to Hinata Hikaru. Fire escape? Everyone knows how to do this. Money. Too vulgar. Could it be the Black Blade? No, no, I have to leave this to my nephew. Then let's take the Black Blade. Hinata extended his hand. Give your Black Blade to this leader. This. Let this leader be healthy, Hinata Hikari shouted loudly. Finally, under Hinata Hikari's coercion, inducement, or crooked reasoning, Ashibashi Kazu handed over his Black Blade. At the same time, his whole body turned into a decadent white color. Be strong. Yamashiro Hanyi patted his shoulder with compassion. Why are you so embarrassed? I am just borrowing it for a while and will return it to you after a while. Hinata Hikari gave Namashibashi a blank look. Oh, she just rolled her eyes. Holding the Black Blade in his hand, Hinata walked towards his small tent. According to Tamashibashi Kazu, this Black Blade is several generations old. His ancestors were samurai, and later on, this Black Blade was passed down as a family heirloom. After the era of samurai was ended, people with the surname Mizuzu became ninjas and joined the Hidden Leaf Village. In other words, this is actually a famous sword. Although it is not as famous as the name of Kirigakuru's 7 swords, nor as mysterious as the legend of Kusanagi sword, but the most important thing is that there is strong spiritual energy attached to it, which is the smell of blood. After hundreds of years, this Black Blade has killed countless enemies and has become an out-and-out vicious blade. No wonder my Nashibashi Kazu is so unlucky. He was harmed by this vicious blade. This leader will exorcise the evil for him today. Hinata Hikari said with a righteous look. Then, it began to absorb the bloody smell above. The amount of blood on the Black Blade is unimaginable, and the spiritual energy is far stronger than those ordinary fish ninja tools that Hyuga can absorb. This also confirmed her previous thoughts. The more expert the weapon is, the more ancient the weapon is, the stronger the bloody aura and the more spiritual energy it contains. The absorption time this time was very long. It took Hinata Hikari half an hour. Different from the usual thin water flowing, the spiritual energy on the Black Blade is absorbed by the sunlight like rivers and lakes pouring in. These pure and rich spiritual energies helped Hinata cross a threshold. In other words, the practice that has never entered the realm, has a breakthrough. As the last trace of bloody smell was absorbed, Hinata opened his eyes suddenly. The breath spread out for a moment, and then converged. Special Jonin. Hinata nodded. Her current strength has reached the level of a special Jounin. The reason why he is not a Jounin is because Hikari lacks other conditions required to be promoted to a Jounin. For example, a lot of knowledge. Only when the amount of knowledge reaches a certain level and passes the dual assessment of theory and practical combat can one become a Jounin. Of course, there are exceptions to everything. In short, she has now become a truly special Jounin, instead of relying on the Unryu sword to perform. It's not about accumulating level C into level B by stacking chakra punches. Hinata Hikari now has the confidence to use the B-level taijutsu that she has been redeeming but not using, Konoha's Strength Whirlwind. The original physical power should have all been enhanced. In addition, Hikaru Hinata discovered that her physical fitness had improved. It turns out, when it is absorbed to a certain extent, the physical strength will also increase. In the past, the reason why my body couldn't keep up in time, and I would injure myself when I used my ultimate move, was because there was no quantitative change to qualitative change. Absorbing the spiritual energy from the black blade, it's like a pool of water finally filled up. During this process, the fluctuations in killing intent automatically tempered her body. Hinata's physical strength allowed her to perform higher intensity physical techniques. This leader is so awesome, and the blood succession limit he invented is unprecedented and unparalleled. Hinata Hikari couldn't help herself with excitement, and there was even a blush on her cute little face. The fluctuation of killing intent that I thought was flawed at first, now seems to be invincible. Hinata's light was a little floating, and her little tail was even more raised. Senju Hashirama Honki, this book tells the mystery of the first Hokage Senju Hashirama's wood release. Earth escape and water escape, the transformation and fusion of the two properties is wood escape. Hinata Hikaru felt that the wave of killing intent he created was similar to Senju Hashirama's wood release. All are abilities developed by myself. No plug-ins. It doesn't matter, just make one yourself. So cheating, so confident. Wow. The tent curtain was lifted. Hinata Hikari slowly walked out from inside with her head held high. That pride. Here you go, Zaza. After walking in front of Tamashibashi Kazu, Hinata Hikari returned the black blade to him. This leader has exorcised the black blade for you. From now on, your luck will change from E to an ordinary D. Hinata Hikari said something that Asashivashi Kazu didn't understand, and Asashivashi Kazu immediately took back the black blade, as if he was afraid that Hinata Hikaru would not leave him again. Same. It seems that he really values his family heirloom. Then we'll say goodbye. Yamashiro Mamaji scratched his head. What's next? Careful. Treasure. No. Looking forward to the birth of your new legend. These were the last words Yamashiro Mamaji said before leaving. He believed that with the existence of Hyuga Hikaru, it was absolutely impossible to remain unknown. One day, she will definitely soar into the sky, just like the water dragon bullet technique she saw that day. By then, her name will definitely resound throughout Konoha, oh no, throughout the 5 major countries. Even the ninja world. Hinata's mouth curled up in a small arc as she watched the two of them leave. Then, the next step is to test the current strength. After making up his mind, Hinata walked towards the pile of rocks surrounding the camp. Behind the rock, Hikari stood still. Then, it's time to take action and feel the power. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 459. However, before Hinata Hikaru could make her move, she saw several uninvited guests. Byakugan, with 360-degree vision. The effective distance of this kind of clairvoyance is a circle with a radius of 50 meters and a diameter of 100 meters. As long as anyone enters this range, they will be seen by the daylight. Come out, scumbags. Hinata Guang said loudly, carrying the Zai sword on his back. After a while, several figures walked out from in front of the rock. It was 2 guys wearing masks. At first glance, it's the dark part, or maybe the root. Hinata can't tell the difference between Umbu and Umbu because their outfits are exactly the same. What's the matter with you? Hinata said loudly. There is a special mission for you. One of the Umbu spoke, his voice was calm and cold. It seems that he is particularly emphasizing his own presence. A secret mission that only you can know about. Another Umbu cooperated. The voice was slightly gentler than the first person's. Above. Hinata looked at them and subconsciously felt that there were some unscrupulous people who wanted to harm the leader. Is it Tsunade? If Tsunade has an order, let her send a messenger ninja to inform the leader personally. Hinata Hikaru waved his sleeves and said very proudly. It seems that it is not easy for others to invite her. The two masked Umbu looked at each other. Of course, it's impossible to say act based on my expression because they all have masks, it's impossible to see their faces. This is due to the tacit understanding of many years of cooperation. It's not Tsunade-sama, it's a task assigned to you by the village's senior leaders, Umbu said with a change of tone. I'm sorry, I'm going to suffer some consequences from you. Hinata raised his head and looked at the two people with his chin, trying to be as arrogant as he wanted. From her observation, these two people were at most 2 jounin. 2 jounin were not enough to scare her. Are jounin powerful? Scumbag. This leader has been strengthened. In fact, Hinata Hikari's hands were itchy and she wanted to find a few people to practice her moves on. She was not sure whether these two people were real Umbu or people from Danzo Shimura. If the other party was really an Umbu, she would always have to find some good reasons to let herself occupy the moral high ground. When the time comes, no one can cure her even if she disobeys the order. Hinata Hikaru, now is trying to make them angry by changing their ways to make them take action first. The elegant classical Chinese text made the two of them stunned for a moment. They thought about it for a while before they figured out what it meant. You will be outside, and your orders will not be accepted. It means that ninjas are out there to fight at will, and in some cases they do not have to obey the orders above. This mission is very important. The Umbu paused. It may be related to the victory of the entire war. I believe that if you can complete this mission, the village leaders will definitely reward you. Under the masks, a hint of coldness flashed in the eyes of Abarame Ryusuke and Yamanaka Shuaki. Ah! Hinata nodded, seeming to accept this statement. When to set off? Now Abarame Ryusuke's cold and calm voice came from under the mask. They are a branch of Umbu, the Roots, and the East Factory. You don't need to get other people's approval or look at other people's faces to do things. As long as Danzo gives an order, they will faithfully execute it. Half an hour later, the three of them were running together on the land of Kawa country. The direction is east. East is the direction of the Kingdom of Fire. Hinata Hikaru ran quietly, not talking along the way. The sky seemed to be gradually covered by dark clouds, and there was a feeling that a storm was coming. Not long after, it suddenly started to rain lightly. Let's find a cave to take shelter from the rain, Yamanaka Shuaki suggested. After that, after finding a flash nearby, the three of them entered the cave entrance one after another. The rain was pouring down, gradually getting heavier, and soon there was lightning and thunder in the sky, and the lightning roared. This is also the first time Hinata has seen rain in this country. The country of Sichuan is different from other countries in that the north is almost covered with mountains and rocks. Although it can't be said to be barren, there is no land suitable for growing plants. Because of this, there is not a single citizen of Sichuan country. Most of the citizens of the Kawa country are concentrated in the south of the Kawa country. There is a completely different land than here. The virgin forest is densely covered, and the south is close to the sea. Hinata Hikari stood at the entrance of the cave, curiously looking at the lightning, thunder, and rain outside. In the cave, Yamanaka Shuaki and Abarame Ryusuke looked at each other and prepared to take action. Quietly, Yamanaka Shuaki began to form seals. At the same time, Abarame Ryusuke slowly raised his hands, ready to summon the insect swarm at any time. Ninja method, the art of turning the heart. The art of turning the heart is a secret art belonging to the Mountain Clan. A ninjutsu that takes over the opponent's body by releasing one's own spiritual energy. This secret technique can take over the opponent's body in a short time. But the spiritual energy released can only move in a straight line. If the released mental energy does not hit the opponent, the skill will be stuck on CD for a period of time. Another feature is that the damage suffered by the opponent will also cause the caster to suffer the same damage indirectly, which has the same effect as Heiden's curse, Death's Blood curse. Yamanaka Shuiki's strategy is to take advantage of the opportunity to sneak attack Hinata Hikari through the use of magic. After controlling Hinata Hikari's body, Abarame Ryuzuki will use a chain with a charm to bind the former. Yamanaka Hyde repeatedly lifted the spell and returned to his body. In this way, the capture is completed. With this simple and efficient operation, the two teamed up to capture a large number of targets. This is why Danzo Shimura sent the two of them here. If the spell fails, Abarame Ryuzuki will immediately release a swarm of insects to devour the enemy's chakra. Quietly, Yamanaka Shuiki released his spirit by making a start gesture. The target is behind Hinata Hikaru. Okay. Almost instantly, Hinata saw the abnormality behind him. She wasn't really looking at the rain. She had already opened her eyes and could clearly see what was happening behind her. Including Yamanaka Shuiki's preparation gesture and Abarame Ryuzuki's pre-movement to summon the insect swarm. Even the spiritual energy projected by Shuiki Yamanaka. These two unscrupulous people want to harm this leader. In other words, they are not Umbu, but Danzo Shimura's lackeys. Hinata confirmed this. In the flash of lightning, everything slowed down. It stands to reason that Hinata Hikaru should not be able to see the spirit released by Shuiki Yamanaka. But maybe it's because Hinata's spiritual energy is far stronger than ordinary people, and maybe it's the reason for the fluctuating murderous intention. In short, she saw this ball of chakra mixed with a large amount of spiritual energy. For a moment, Hinata's body moved to the side, and it looked like an erratic sideways movement. Nani? Yamanaka Shuiki, who thought he was sure of victory, was shocked and missed his move. Quack. This technique of yours is very fast to activate, but it is not unsolvable. Hinata turned around and smiled strangely. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 460. When you meet a master of physical arts like me, you will have to practice for a few more years if you want to hit. Seeing that the situation was not going well, Abarame Ryuzuki suddenly waved his hand. Secret technique, insect bad insects. In an instant, a large number of black insects flew out of his body. Although it is not overwhelming, it is at least very large scale. This kind of scene is enough to scare the average kunoichi. It may even make them scream, cry, or faint. But Hinata Hikaru is obviously not ordinary, she is at the top of the food chain. Killing intention fluctuation collapsing palm. Hikaru Hinata struck out with a palm. Now is a good opportunity to test the power of her moves after her strength has been improved. Boom. 3 meters away, a red vortex appeared, covering the insect swarm in an instant. Compared with before, both the release range and distance have been greatly improved. Ryuzuki Abarame was shocked and quickly evacuated the insect swarm. But even so, Hinata's palm directly killed a large number of bugs. These insects fell from the air like a curtain of rain and scattered all over the ground. Every bug that was photographed seemed to be bitten by something and became fragmented. Preliminary estimate, it already has B-level power. Hinata thought in her heart. She actually became stronger and didn't feel any physical discomfort. In other words, her current physical strength can withstand a physical technique that releases B-level power. Bengjang, which originally only had C-level lethality, was suddenly upgraded to B. Hinata looked at her palms, concentrating. Her behavior of ignoring others did not arouse the dissatisfaction of Abarame Ryuzuki and Yamanaka Shuiki. Because the two of them were shocked in their hearts. According to intelligence, Hinata Hikaru's murderous intention wave, collapse palm, has a limit range of only about 2 meters. But now I look at it, it's actually more than 3 meters. And that abnormal range is almost like a wall blocking the parasites. What on earth is it? Yamanaka Shuaki and Abarame Ryusuke looked at each other and saw the shock in their eyes. Ninjas are a profession that relies on information. Before their strength reaches the 6th level that crushes everything, information can come in handy. There was something wrong with the basic intelligence. No, that won't happen. Abarame Ryusuke and Yamanaka Shuaki again denied the idea. Every root ninja is loyal to Shimura Danzo, and it is impossible for anyone to falsify information. Well, that can only mean one thing. This Hyuga is getting stronger again. But how is this possible? She has only been on the battlefield for less than a month. Thinking of this, the two calmed down and adopted a new strategy. Since the old information is no longer valid, the outcome will be determined by a direct confrontation. Secret Art Insect Jade. Abarame Ryusuke waved his hand again, and the black insect swarm suddenly dispersed and rushed towards Hinata Hikaru in the form of dots scattered in the air. Since the opponent's attack range is larger, use this wide-range 360-degree attack. Buzz. Swarms of insects were flying, and under the control of Abarame Ryusuke, the parasitic bugs suddenly headed towards the Hinata light cage. Almost in the blink of an eye, these insects surrounded Hinata Hikaru. Humph. The corners of Abarame Ryusuke's mouth curved, revealing a cold arc. Got her. Hinata was wrapped in a black swarm of insects, as if wrapped in a layer of breadcrumbs, and the children next door were crying. Next, all he had to do was let the parasitic bug explode, absorb her chakra, and render it powerless. Seeing this scene, Yamanaka Shuaki, who was tensed, couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Regardless of any enemy, as long as they are hit by Abarame Ryusuke's move, they will be drained of chakra, become weak, and even die due to depletion of chakra. 1. This is their idea. But the next moment, both of them opened their eyes wide. Because, at this moment, red light seeped out from the black swarm of insects. 1, 2, 3, until the red light is revealed beyond measure. A nervous voice came from the human form surrounded by black insects. The wave of killing intent, soft fist technique, one strike to the body. Boom. The insect swarm exploded, like an earth wall blown down by a detonating talisman, falling apart in an instant. The explosion of insect bodies resounded in the air, and every insect was blown into dozens of pieces. Hinata Hikaru's red glow figure emerged from it, unharmed. The secret arts of the Abarame clan are not very good either. In the rain of bullets in the insect forest, Hinata sneered. This is a taunt from a mentally ill person. Ryusuke Abarame and Shuaki Yamanaka were stunned. As people at the root, they are not salty fish who know nothing about the Hyuga clan or only know the surface. Roots mastered many detailed information about Konoha and even the ninja world. Among them, the two of them also knew a lot about the Hyuga clan, including the soft boxing method and one-shot body technique, which can only be learned by the clan. They are obviously from a separate family, but this Hyuga Hikaru actually. Your bug is indeed unsolvable, but unfortunately, you encountered this leader. Hinata Hikaru was in high spirits and seemed not to be affected at all by the chakra absorbed by the insects. Of course. Her chakra is far greater than that of an ordinary jounin. How could she be incapacitated after being sucked for a few seconds? Hinata Hikaru deliberately released chakra for those bugs to suck, but the sucking speed was so slow that she frowned. The swarm of insects that would normally scare a girl into screaming or even unconsciousness are just some fun gadgets to Hinata Hikaru. The physical strength of these mortal bugs is not enough to support the Magnetic Escape Ninja Heime's Magnetic Escape and Magnetic Killing Array. Buster. This word came to Abarame Ryusuke and Yamanaka Shuaki's minds. If it were an ordinary ninja, being hit by this move would basically mean death. But only the Hyuga clan is different. As long as they master the moves that can release chakra from acupuncture points all over the body, such as the soft fist technique and a single strike, they can directly disperse the insect swarm. Abarame Ryusuke never expected that this would be the result. He has assassinated countless ninjas and experienced countless battles. But to be honest, I have never taken action against the ninjas of the Hyuga clan. Because the people of the Hyuga clan are very timid. Don't fight back when you scold, don't fight back when you hit. Even the Zone family, which is extremely arrogant within the family, is no different from its grandson to the outside world. It is precisely because of cowardice that the Hyuga clan will not make enemies. Precisely because he would not make enemies, even Shimura Danzo could not find a reason to take action against the Hyuga clan. Hinata is the first. Although he had already deduced it in his mind and simulated the Hyuga clan as imaginary enemies, Abarame Ryusuke still did not expect that his insect swarm secret technique would be restrained so completely. Frowning slightly, Abarame Ryusuke had no choice but to choose close combat. Although it is dangerous to fight the ninjas of the Hyuga clan in close combat, in order to give Yamanaka Shuaki a chance to release his ninjutsu, this is the only way to do it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 461. Abarame Ryusuke ran toward Hinata Hikari without saying a word, and arrived at a distance of 7 or 8 meters in the blink of an eye. Hinata put her hands behind her back and watched the scumbag at leisure. The reason why I am not in a hurry to take action. One is because Hinata Hikari wanted to find a sandbag to practice his moves. The second reason is because these guys want to harm her. If she takes care of them in a few moments, wouldn't it be an advantage for them? We must defeat them completely. No matter what secret technique it is from the Abarame clan or the secret technique from the mountains, they will all be crushed under their feet. Let these two people feel completely unable to fight. This is what Hinata thinks. Buzz. Abarame Ryusuke waved his hand, and a swarm of insects flew in again. But this time both the scale and the number are much smaller. Through his Byakugan, Hinata clearly saw the situation inside Abarame Ryusuke's body. The Abarame clan is a clan that keeps parasites inside their bodies. Use your own chakra as food for insects. When fighting an enemy, it is released from the pores on the surface of the body. No matter from which aspect, it is the nemesis of patients with intensive phobia. However, Hinata is not afraid. She clearly saw that most of the worms in Abarame Ryusuke's body were gone, and only a small amount of worms were in his body. Her collapse palm and body blow just now killed most of the bugs. Abarame Ryusuke had no choice but to control a small number of insect swarms to fight Hinata Hikari. Although insect swarms can reproduce quickly, doing so comes at the cost of consuming a large amount of chakra. Unless absolutely necessary, Abarame Ryusuke would not use chakra to actively catalyze the insect swarm. When the waving insect came to the front, Hinata moved. Killing intention fluctuation Bagua Kong Palm. Bagua Kong Jong is one of the fastest moves among all Hinata's moves. To a certain extent, it is a little faster than the spiritual light wave fist. Sometimes, a little advantage in speed can decide a battle. Boom. A red handprint emanated from Hinata Hikari's palm and expanded rapidly. When Ryusuke Abarame could see it clearly with his naked eyes. The red palm shadow has become the size of a giant shuriken. This. There was no time to be surprised, and the insect swarm exploded. Abarame Ryusuke, who waved his hand, was stunned on the spot, becoming a bare-handed commander. Konoha, whirlwind. Hinata's body spun around and he kicked directly in the face with a roundhouse kick. Snapped. The mask shattered, and Abarame Ryusuke's whole body was like a rag doll, crashing towards the cave. After hitting the rock hard, Abarame Ryuzyuk rolled to the ground miserably and spit out a large mouthful of blood. One blow, heavy damage. The figure of Hinata Hikari, who was spinning and landing on the ground, was floating like snow, extremely free and unrestrained. Although Yamanaka Shuaki was surprised that Abarame Ryuzyuk was knocked down, he was not completely unprepared. The moment Hinata kicked his face, his secret technique CD also improved. Ninjutsu, heart-turning technique. An invisible wave crossed the space and directly hit Hinata, who happened to land on the ground. 1. Abarame Ryuzyuk, who was vomiting blood, raised his head desperately and looked at this scene. As long as you fall into the Mountain Clan's secret technique, everything will be over. However, the truth of the matter is that when Yamanaka Shuaki opened his eyes, he found that his consciousness came to a red space. Scarlet, completely scarlet. This is the color of this world. Nani? Yamanaka Hyde looked at the scene in surprise, still not understanding what happened. He was very sure that his secret technique hit Hinata Hikari. Logically speaking, the secret technique should take effect at this time and seize control of Hinata Hikaru's body. However, the scene in front of him was very strange. Quack! A weird laugh like thunder echoed throughout the space. Yamanaka Shuaki suddenly looked up and saw a huge red shadow. Only then did he realize that the red world he saw was actually just a part of this phantom. And this phantom obviously has the appearance of Hyuga Hikari. Could it be that this is the spiritual world of that little mentally ill person? Such a thing is not impossible. Just like in the original work, Uchiha Sasuke entered the spiritual world of Naruto Uzumaki and saw the 9 tails in Naruto's body. Uchiha Sasuke relies on the Sharingan. And Yamanaka Shuaki relies on the secret ninjutsu of the Yamanaka clan. You scumbag! Hinata spoke, looking up at the little bug. You actually want to use magic power to seize this leader. This is not the first time Hikari has experienced the invasion of the secret arts of the Mountain Clan. She had been hit by this mental ninjutsu during the Chuunin exams. But there is no doubt that she has extremely strong spiritual energy and is not afraid of this kind of spiritual attack. Seeing this scene, Yamanaka Shuaki was already panicking. Hinata Hikari couldn't help but laugh inside. All the pretty boys have just never seen a real landslide. Now, seeing a real landslide, the root ninja, who is said to have no emotions, also showed an expression called fear. Hey! Look at this leader suppressing you. Hinata Hikaru said nervously, waving his giant red hand, and fell from the sky. Yamanaka Shuaki raised his head and could only watch the raised hand suddenly fall down. Covering Shuaki Yamanaka with his palm was as simple as slapping an ant to death. Outside world. Puff. Yamanaka Shuaki spit out a mouthful of blood and knelt directly on the ground. Obviously, this is the consequence of the backlash of ninjutsu. His secret technique has been broken. Is this the only level you have? Hinata Hikari's little face showed a look of disappointment. Originally, I thought Danzo Shimura would send some powerful characters, but it turned out to be two scum like this. But then, she thought that this had something to do with her keeping a low profile. Danzo Shimura must not have known how powerful she had become. Therefore, 2 scumbag special jounin were sent to deal with her. But the problem is, she hasn't finished warming up yet. Once upon a time, the special jounin was an opponent that she needed all her strength to defeat. But now, with a wave of his hand, he was directly defeated. Abarame Ryuzyuk and Yamanaka Shuaki, who were lying on the ground, saw the shock in each other's eyes. They didn't expect that they would be taken care of by Hinata Hikari so easily. The two of them are special jounins. Does this kid already have the strength of a jounin? No, it's impossible. 10-year-old jounin, how is this possible? It must be due to restraint. Yes, that must be the case. Many people are very good at escaping from reality. Ninjas at their core are also human beings and cannot get rid of this inertia. Regarding their failure, the two of them felt like they were dreaming, and they still can't believe it. The route information shows that Hinata Hikaru is just a Chuyunin. Then, it took a month to come to the battlefield. In this month, could she have mutated into a special Jounin or even a Jounin? This is absolutely unbearable to learn. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 462. Quack. Hinata Hikaru didn't know what they thought, nor did she want to know. She looked around the two of them and said loudly, "You two scumbags, do you have any skills? If not, it's my leader's turn." An atmosphere of silence spread in the cave. Abarame Ryusuke tried many times, but still couldn't get up from the ground. To this day, his mind is buzzing. Shuaki Yamanaka suffered slightly less injuries, but the mental damage may be more difficult to recover from. Just like Uchiha Sasuke and Kakashi in the original work were hit by Uchiha attackist Tsukuyomi, they lay down for a long time and were rescued by Tsunade before they woke up. At this moment, the two of them had to admit that they failed. Looking at Hinata Hikari walking toward him with a strange smile, Yamanaka Shuaki and Abarame Ryusuke's eyes flickered. But even if they fail, someone stronger will come to capture Hikari. They had already made arrangements before coming. As long as the two of them don't show up for a while, Hai who stays far away will directly return to Konoha and report the news of their defeat to Danzo-sama. Go ahead. Abarame Ryusuke said calmly. A look of death. Although Shuaki Yamanaka was wearing a mask that made it impossible to see clearly, Hinata Hikari could guess his expression at a glance. Oh, you are obviously a villain, but you are still acting like this. Your life and death are now in the hands of this leader. I will do whatever I want to do to you. Hinata Guang pinched his waist and said angrily. The next moment, her figure blurred for a moment, and she patted both of them a few times. Shuaki Yamanaka and Ryusuke Abarame fainted immediately. One of the ways to use soft boxing is to knock the target unconscious. After knocking the two of them unconscious, Hinata started searching for equipment. Get all the ninja tools bags. What's yours belongs to this leader, and what belongs to this leader still belongs to this leader. After a search, Hinata Hikaru obtained 4 ninja tool bags, several spare masks, and a bundle of ropes with charms. In addition, there are 3 sunglasses. Oh! Hinata Hikaru held the sunglasses in his hand, looked them up and down, and finally put one on the bridge of his nose. It feels very nostalgic. This kind of item reminds Hinata of her previous life. Hinata, wearing sunglasses, feels good about herself. She looked around very proudly, letting her excitement flow freely. Afterwards, she took the rope originally used to capture her and tied up Abarame Ryusuke and Yamanaka Hidachi tightly. This kind of rope with a charm can restrain the opponent's actions to a certain extent as long as it is tied to the object. Clapping his hands, Hinata was very satisfied with his masterpiece. Hinata smiled strangely and walked towards the two of them. At this time, the two of them also woke up slowly. Seeing Hinata Hikari's appearance, Abarame Ryusuke and Yamanaka Shuaki had bad thoughts in their minds, and cold sweat flowed down their foreheads. They could only watch Hinata Hikari walk over without any solution. Did I, the leader, do it myself, or did you take the initiative? Hinata Guang stood in front of the two of them, holding his waist. The root ninja who was fixed by the rope with the charm had no resistance, and it was extremely difficult to break free. Even so, Abarame Ryusuke also had a sneer on his face. Humph, you will never get the slightest bit of information from people like us. Abarame Ryusuke's intentions are not without purpose. Every root ninja will have the tongue eradicating seal cast on their tongue. The seal of the tongue's root abuse is a curse seal exclusively used by the roots of Konoha's Umbu. Shimura Danzo put a curse seal on the tongue of the root member. If the person who was subjected to the spell wanted to say any secrets about him, he would be paralyzed, unable to speak or move. Shimura Danzo used this to restrain his subordinates so that they could not tell secrets about themselves. Abarame Ryusuke and Yamanaka Shuaki were very confident that even if Hinata Hikaru pressed them, they would not tell Danzo's information. However, what the two of them didn't know was that Hinata Hikaru had mastered the art of reading minds. However, out of humanitarianism, Hinata decided to torture him first. Oh, she doesn't know the tongue-eradicating seal. Who sent you here? Hinata Hikaru asked a question that he knew he was asking. She put her hands behind her back and began to pace. This is called walking away from the program. Humph. Abarame Ryusuke snorted coldly. Snapped. The next moment, Hinata slapped him in the face. Abarame Ryusuke immediately tilted his head, and a handprint quickly appeared on his face. It's quite cool, now you are prisoners, you better be smart. Abarame Ryusuke, who tilted his head to the side, had a mixture of anger and humiliation on his face, but he took a deep breath and remained silent. It seems that you will stop crying when you see the coffin. Hikaru Hinata kicked Abarame Ryusuke down and made him lie on the ground with his butt in the air. You, what do you want to do? The person who asked this question was his partner, Shuaki Yamanaka. This time, he couldn't speak clearly. Because he remembered something recorded in the data. Hinata Hikaru's special skill. Killing intention fluctuates. Hinata put her 10 fingers together, stretched out her index and middle fingers, and straightened them, targeting Ryusuke Abarame's ass. Red light appeared. Millennium killing. A red light shot out from in front of Hinata Hikaru's finger and flew directly through the air. Blast. Boom. Ah. Ryusuke Abarame let out a horrible cry. Even the ninja, who was said to be incapable of emotion, unconsciously wailed when faced with such a cruel punishment. There were tears in the corners of Yamanaka Hide's eyes, and he closed his eyes quietly. Because, Abarame Ryusuke is disabled. Hinata Hikaru kept giggling, as if he had seen something interesting. When she had laughed enough, she immediately turned her head and looked at Yamanaka Shuaki. Yamanaka Shuaki suddenly trembled, as if he had seen some demon. That's right, devil. This Hinata is definitely a devil. Although the ninjas in this world claim to be cruel, they are still ridiculously stupid. For example, among the many punishments at the root, there is no such method as 1,000-year killing. Looking at the entire Naruto world, only the most sinister Senju Tobirama can come up with such a dirty trick. Wait. I told you. In order to prevent the chrysanthemum from becoming disabled, Yamanaka Shuaki immediately told Hinata Hikaru about the tongue-eating seal and said that there was nothing he could do. That's it? Hinata fell into a slight thought. Yamanaka Shuaki observed Hinata Hikaru's expression and continued. Hikaru Hinata, it is your honor that Danzo-sama has taken a fancy to your talent. After saying a tentative sentence, Yamanaka Hide paused. Seeing that Hinata Hikaru had no objection, he continued. Serve Danzo-sama and become the root that protects Konoha. Yamanaka Shuaki spoke to Hinata Hikari in what he believed to be a brainwashing language. But in Hinata's view, Yamanaka Shuaki is like one of those lost youths who fell into a pyramid scheme. Stupid bubbling.